Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. We're here with another episode of The Last of Us, episode 6. Last time on The Last of Us, we were introduced to two new characters, Sam and Henry, two brothers trying to make it out of the or escape this new faction that we were introduced to, led by Kathleen. Neither Firefly nor Fedra, they seem to have driven Fedra out of the town, and unfortunately, having driven Fedra out, they forgot that they had other duties that they need to perform, which is keep the infected underground, and that eventually led to not just Kathleen's demise, because I imagine with the infected now roaming about, that everyone else in the city is going to be completely screwed, because she was so obsessed with this one person. And understandably, Henry revealed that he did in fact turn over her brother to save Sam, choosing the life of one over the many. And Kathleen she understandably, again, she would not let that go, but she did the same thing that he did in putting one before the many, because she had so many other people that were relying on her, and instead she chose to focus on just the one thing, just herself, essentially, and getting vengeance for her brother. She killed Edelstein, which was their only doctor that they had, which was the first red flag that I noticed. It's like he said, I'm your doctor, and she killed him, and then decided to focus all the resources on finding just Henry. One of the things that I thought the episode could have done better, and it wasn't explained as to why all these people were so intent on protecting Henry. I just did not understand that. They refer to the informants as rats. I don't think rats really have much allegiance to each other. And even Edelstein helping Henry as well. I just didn't understand why everyone was willing to put their life on the line to help Henry. So I thought that could have done with some sort of explanation. But it wasn't given throughout the episode. Unfortunately, Henry and Sam met his end. Sam got infected, and then Henry had to make a hard choice and then took his own life. So that is unfortunately the end of the of those characters. So I came to understand afterwards that in the game, Sam wasn't deaf, so they made some slight alterations to the character for the adaptation, and I do like to see that. That's one of the instances where making changes to enhance the viewer's experience, and I think that works really well. And Sam, as a young actor, did a really fantastic job, as did Henry as well, I must say. Now, I think one of the going into this series, one of the hurdles that the series has to overcome, at least for me personally, I'm sure a lot of people are enjoying this series so far, is that the series really peaked at episode 1 and 2, and for me, again, I don't feel it has managed to capture that high from episode 1 to 2. It hasn't managed to recapture that since those first two episodes. I think the last episode came really close. It came really close. But I just feel as though something is missing. And as much as I hate doing, drawing comparisons, but because the genre is the genre within television is not, there's not that many examples to draw from. It's starting to feel a bit too much like The Walking Dead, and not the better seasons of The Walking Dead. I think since episode 2, you can sort of feel them trying to stretch the material. And in some ways it works, because they need to build tension and have these moments of quiet in between, so that when we do get to impactful moments, they hit really hard. But it does feel as though it drags on a bit through some of these episodes, and that they try to stretch some of the material to get more episodes, which I just don't understand. I think if they needed to make this a 6-episode season, then it should have been quite fine. And I checked the episode number because I wasn't sure how many episodes there were in the season, and it's actually 9. And I feel they could have made this 6 or 7 episodes instead, just purely based on what I've seen since episode 2. There are things that could have been shaved or cut, and it felt as though they were just kind of buying time, so to speak. And I often think back to something like Kingdom, which, as I said before, is the high bar that I have for series within this genre, because they do pacing really, really well while creating really compelling character-driven moments. And there was never a moment in Kingdom where I felt like this episode was too long, or like this was being dragged out for longer than it needed to be. Unfortunately for me, episode 2 was the high, and they've not managed to recapture that so far. It'd be interesting to see towards the end if my view on that changes by episode 9. And to see how exactly that compares to Kingdom, the first season of Kingdom by the end. That'll be really interesting. But I'm still looking forward to seeing what they do for the remainder of the season, and perhaps I'll have a different opinion by then. All right, episode 6 of The Last of Us. Let's check it out. 3 months later. All right, so a little time skip. I honestly wish they had done a bit more of that earlier on. Someone's here. It doesn't seem...
Who the
surprised.
hell are you?
Just someone passing through. Take the gun out, 2 fingers only, put it out of reach. No.
Oh, what?
What did I just say?
Joe, come on, there's like 1,000.
Who's this little psycho?
Never mind. We're somewhere here. Exactly where? And your answer better be the same as your wife's.
You tell him the truth?
Yeah.
Why are you letting her speak if you're threatening them? In order for that to work, you gotta let the other person has to shut up. You don't let him ask her, "Are you telling me that? Did you tell him the truth?"
West?
Yeah.
Don't
Go east. But you never go past the river here. Ever.
What's past the river?
Death.
Unless he's a part of the group that's doing that.
You don't seriously believe them.
You've lived here a long time. Put that back.
I don't know anything.
Steal their food. I still am a bit perplexed by this giant plot hole that they've left behind by removing the spores and having these people in these scattered locations where they can literally live and be fine without being disturbed by the infected. I just don't understand how humanity after 20 years could not, if we can control them in the way that Fedra did in the last episode, how we could not have managed to section by section wipe out the infected.
So I've been thinking.
Yeah.
Let's say we
The
find
spores
the fireflies,
would
it
have
all
added an
works.
extra layer
draw my blood
where,
and
this
put
is
it
not a
through some
problem you can
fancy
just deal
machines
with
and make a cure.
with a gun or a bullet. It's something else. You can't just get your way past that just that easily. But they removed that and
Where
they
are you
didn't
going?
replace it with
What do you do?
anything else.
It's never
And
been
it
an option.
makes it
Maybe
raises a lot of questions. It just raises a lot of
Farmhouse,
questions. Why wouldn't more
land.
people move to this location where there are no
Ranch.
infected
Cool.
and so
Okay.
on? And yeah, just a
Sheep.
lot of questions.
I would raise sheep. They're quiet.
Yeah, okay.
Can't go back to the QZ, I don't think. Wake up.
Still mumbling in your sleep. I woke up early. You were passed out, so I took second watch.
You gotta wake me up if that happens.
You need to rest as well.
I'm responsible for you, okay?
Then don't fall asleep. I was quiet. I checked my sticks. I looked for tracks. I found the high ground, and I kept watch. Like you taught me to.
All right, good job.
Wake me up next time.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I kind of understand it because he's probably worried about what happened the last time with Henry and Sam, and the next person that creeps up on them might not be as nice. Yeah, and this is not a good idea. The bridge being the one way in or out. If it's people, they're definitely watching that bridge. It's not a bad idea. I mean, she needs to be able to fend for herself. Oh, okay. Yeah.
Get behind me.
You.
Don't know who they
5
are.
steps back.
How about we just talk this through?
How about you shut the fuck up?
Okay, easy.
If you're infected, he will smell it and he will rip you up.
Dog to check. It's neat. Good boy. Oh, it's gonna be a bit difficult with Ellie, isn't it?
Like I said, we'll just move on.
Yeah, this is a problem. Uh-oh. Or maybe she'll be fine. It's okay, let's just... Okay, okay. Just said he's passing through.
What's your name?
Joel.
Okay, so looks like maybe Tommy's with them. She didn't recognize the name, although I mean a lot of people could be named Joel, but yeah, I'm guessing Tommy is there. So it's a whole town here.
Tommy!
Oh, is that Tommy? Oh, it is. Grew a mustache. How long has it been? Who's the girl?
There's more if you need it.
Thank you, ma'am. It's been a while since we've had a proper meal.
Actually, I don't think I've ever had a proper meal. This is fucking amazing.
Sorry.
I'm a bit put off by Ellie's response here. She seems unnecessarily aggressive for some
I'm grateful
reason.
for your hospitality and all. But it'd be nice to have a moment here, maybe just for family.
I recognize this actress from somewhere.
Well,
Is it True Blood?
Maria is family, actually.
Joel.
Oh, they're married.
Congrats.
Mind your manners, Joel. I think Joel wants to
still
understand
getting
why
shit
he's
out.
been ignoring him all this time. They did mention that, you know, there was maybe something about a rift between them. It's a nice setup.
So you know where they might be, these fireflies?
They got a
Or
base
he just
down
doesn't
at the
plan on
University of
sticking
Eastern
around.
Colorado. It's a week's ride south.
It is severely fucked up between you.
For us, seeing as how you can headshot infected from half a mile away.
He wants
which is a
Tommy
bunch
to
of
go with him,
bullshit,
but
by the
Tommy
way.
has a wife now.
Yeah, I can't go.
And I don't think he's on the best grounds with Joel. But
Well, 'cause
they
your wife
haven't
won't let you-
explained why.
They're good people. They didn't have to take me in, but they did. And all they ask is that I follow their rules.
I'm your brother.
Yeah, I'm aware. Joel, I'm
Those
gonna...
things I did, Tommy, those things that you judge me for, I did those things to keep us alive.
We did those things. They weren't things. We murdered people. We survived the only way we
Oh,
knew how.
they said it.
There were
I've been
no
waiting
ways.
for it. Chose the easy one.
The shit that I've been through, Tommy, trying to find you these last few months.
I'm gonna be a father. Maria's a few months along now,
Oh, okay.
so I just gotta be more careful. To be honest, I'm scared to death. But I don't know. I feel like I'd be a good dad.
This is complicated because I
We'll
guess
find out.
I guess we'll find out.
congratulations.
Just because life stopped for you doesn't mean it has to stop for me.
Yeah. I
We'll
guess in
grab
a
some
way,
supplies and be out of your hair in the morning.
in a way, Joel feel like he's losing Tommy, even though he hasn't. But you know, it feels that way. Yeah.
Waited for this. Go ahead, try it on.
It's super fucking purple.
Eggplant. Fits.
Yeah,
Shoes aren't too big.
no. Where's my other stuff?
Rag pile. You got the little memorial Tommy made?
Yeah. I'm sorry about your kids.
It's okay. And kid, just Kevin.
So she
Sarah
lost
was
him.
Joel's daughter.
Oh, she didn't know.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't have said anything.
No, it's okay.
There's a whole lot you're not telling me. Good. Herein lies the point. Be careful who you put your faith in. The only people who can betray us are the ones we
But
trust.
true, but you've got to trust someone.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
That never hurts to be cautious.
I said I might find you here.
Yeah. I guess Tommy figured.
I shouldn't have said what I said. I know you're happy for me. It's complicated for you.
Would it help to say it?
I'm sorry.
She's immune.
What?
Ellie. Tommy. Tommy. I saw her get bit myself. That was months ago. Months. She's immune.
Now, is he telling him this for a good reason or because he's trying to get him to go with him?
It was Marlene. She hired us to smuggle her to some fireflies. It went bad. Tess got bit. She made me swear to take the kid. It was her dying wish. What the hell was I supposed to do? You think I can still handle things, but
Yeah,
I'm
but
not
you're
a woman.
asking a lot.
I'm weak.
You're asking a
Maybe
lot
those
of Tommy
moments when
here.
fear comes up out of nowhere. And
So I have to wonder
Uh-huh.
whether he's trying to manipulate
stop.
Tommy into going or he's just trying to be forthcoming.
you take her. I'm just gonna get her killed. I know it. I know it. Joe, I mean, it's why you took off on me, right? To make up for the things we did. Well, here's your chance to bring your kid into a better world. It's the last thing I'll ever ask of you. I swear.
Asking him to leave his wife and his unborn
I was too proud
child.
of Dawn.
But again, for the hope of, you know, hopefully returning the world to some sanity. Probably is lying to Maria or not telling her. And if she was a district attorney, she will know something's up. I think it's her job to know when someone is lying.
She really had to
She'll
worry
figure it
about.
out.
Boys, movies.
It's good problems to have.
Why are you here?
I came here to talk to you.
No, why are you still here? If you're gonna ditch me, ditch me.
Oh, she was listening. Okay.
I made this decision for your own good. You'll be way better off with Tommy. He knows the area better than I do.
Do you give a shit about me or not?
Of course I do.
Then what are you so afraid of?
Uh-oh.
Maria told me about Sarah and...
No.
Don't.
Don't say another word.
I'm sorry about your daughter, Joel. But I've lost people too.
Everyone has lost people. That's my whole problem with
I've
Joel.
cared for.
Everyone
Did
in this
die
world has
or
lost
what?
someone, not just him.
Everybody fucking except for you. So don't tell me that I'd be safe with somebody else, because the truth is, I would just be more scared.
You're right. You're not my daughter. And I sure as hell ain't your dad.
Ah,
Now come dawn. We're going our separate ways.
okay. Now we know she's definitely not going with Tommy, so something's happening to change that plan. Did he tell Maria, or is he trying to sneak out without telling her? If he is, that's a bad idea.
Came here to say goodbye or something?
No.
Oh, change of heart.
You deserve a choice. I still think you'd be better off with Tommy.
Let's go.
Okay.
Southeast till you hit I-25. It's right off the interstate. Should be hard to miss.
Hope we see each other again.
It's a place for you here. Both of you.
Counting on it.
Bye, Tommy. Damn, I thought we were gonna have a bit more time with Tommy. I like his dynamic with Joel. Yeah, I thought we were gonna have a bit more time with. Contractors are cool though. It's always,
Oh, it's a big
I don't know.
one.
There's something about
What does that mean?
building or creating
mascot.
something. I think is
Kinda
just
sheep.
always really
see?
fascinating.
You step closer to your dream.
I think it's something everyone should learn. Not necessarily building a house, but just creating something, whether it's
So I've been
a
thinking.
garden, farm, whatever.
I don't want a sheep
whatever
ranch,
it
actually.
may-
I mean,
it
if the
may
deal
be.
is I can do anything,
That's the deal.
well,
When I was a kid, I wanted to be a singer.
Shut up.
Why is that funny?
Never too late.
There's a packing list. Something you make before moving.
No, someone's still here. Or something. Oh, okay. Just the monkeys. Still be on guard.
That's where they went.
All the pins lead there.
How would they leave a trail showing where exactly they're heading? No. It's not good. I don't think those are fireflies. Probably raiders. Oh, damn. No, don't worry about this one. Just watch his back. Oh, damn. That's not good. I mean, they don't have any guns. Could have just taken them out. Yeah, Joel's not looking too good.
Joel? Joel? Joel, no, shit! Joel?
This is not looking good.
I can't fucking do this without you. I don't know where the fuck I'm going. What the fuck I'm gonna do.
Alright, there we have it, episode 6 of The Last of Us. This was a quiet episode, but I don't mind it. I don't have an issue with character driven episodes, and I quite like this one a bit, you know, especially the dynamic between Joel and Tommy, which is something that I've been looking forward to since you know, the first episode, just to sort of understand what exactly happened between them, because we were told there was some rift after the events of episode 1, but we weren't really told what. So we got a bit more information, and I did say in episode 1 or 2 somewhere that, you know, I was hoping the writers wouldn't shy away from the things that Joel and Tommy did, and why Tess said, you know, we aren't good people, you know, and Tommy highlights that in this episode and said, you know, we killed people, we didn't have to, but you know, we chose the easy route, and we just killed them to survive, and you know, so we aren't good people. So in some respects, you know, both Tommy doesn't feel as though he deserves this life that he's had, and staying with Joe would have just been a constant reminder of that. But he managed to find his way to this settlement, and he's now apparently married and expecting a child. Yeah, and initially I thought Joel was telling him all those things because he was maybe trying to manipulate him into going with him, but then yeah, he said, you know, he wants to go his separate ways from Ellie, because I think in 2 parts, because he wanted her to have a higher chance of getting there, but I think secondly, he's worried about losing someone else, like he lost Sarah, like he lost you know, Tess. So I think there were two sides to that. Tommy did agree, but I guess, you know, Joel had a change of heart. But what was interesting was the conversation that, you know, Joel had with Ellie, and it's something that I always bring up whenever there's this, you know, the conversation around Joel and his loss, right? And losing Sarah and the impact that that had on him. And we understand, whether you have a child or not, you understand loss on some levels. And while I understand Joel is going through a lot, it's as Ellie said, she's lost someone as well. Every single person in this world has lost someone dear to them. Joel's grief isn't somehow more grand than everyone else's. I know he's the character that we are following, and so it may appear that way, but whether it's the game or in this adaptation, everyone in this world has suffered loss. Joel doesn't have some monopoly on grief that allows him to make decisions or be above everyone else. He just doesn't, So that's always been my stance where Joel is concerned. It's like, I understand your loss, but we've all lost something, and I think everyone else in this world deserves the chance or to hope for something more. That has nothing to do with Joel. It's like, yeah, the world doesn't revolve around Joel. And so that's always been my position where he's concerned, and decisions that he makes. That I do understand his loss, but everyone is suffering in the same way. So yeah, that was interesting to see, to hear that come from Ellie in this episode as well. That she has also lost people as well, and eventually, we all have to deal with that grief in our own way. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed this episode. Just it did a lot of world building, which is something that I'm always for, because I'm always fascinated by these adaptations and seeing what changes that they do make, but also just to sort of understand the scope of the world in which we're dealing with as well. And so I really found this episode to be really fascinating. I would say this is probably one of my favorite episodes of the season so far, probably after episode 1 and probably after episode 1 and 2, this is probably my favorite episode. I have enjoyed the other episodes after episode 2 so far, but I don't think any of them really lived up to the expectations that were built up from episode 1 and 2. But hopefully this episode signifies a return to form. You don't have to have action in every episode for it to be really, really good, but you need to move the story. You need to be moving the story along, and I think that's what some of the other episodes have just not been doing since episode 2, and at least for me personally, they've just not been moving the plot along, and I like to see when we begin to focus on the narrative, because that's why we're here. So yeah, I really, really like that episode. Unfortunately, Joel has now been injured. I was beginning to wonder, because the people in the settlement made it sound as though where they were headed was so treacherous, and the things that they could encounter there, that he needed Tommy to go instead of him because he's not he's getting old. But then they didn't encounter anything. It's like, okay, you didn't need Tommy then. You could have just you can't just go by yourself and just waltz right through. And even then, these are just some raiders that I'm not sure. I'm a bit confused by what happened at the end, because even though he was injured here, he still had his rifle, and he put the rifle in the saddle. But I was wondering why the men weren't armed. He could have at least taken out one before they got to him, and I'm sure the others would have scattered because they don't have guns. And Ellie herself is armed, and he's been teaching her to shoot. So I think he could have gotten away with shooting another one with his rifle, and the other two would have just ran away, and they would have at least been in a better position. And he could have maybe even killed them as they ran away. So I wasn't sure why he immediately saddled the rifle. And but the last part there was a bit odd, or the decisions that he made there was a bit odd. But unfortunately, Ellie's I don't know what she's gonna do in this situation. She has to try to drag him to some shelter of some sort because it's still snowing, and that is not good with an open wound. So yeah, and him losing blood and out in the cold, yeah, she's gonna have to drag him somewhere and, I don't know, try to treat his wound. It's not a gunshot wound, so that's good. It's not great. A puncture, it's not great either, but I think in this particular situation, it's better that it's not a gunshot wound. So hopefully she can maybe try to patch him up some bit until they can get some help somehow. I don't know how, but yeah, we'll see. All right, guys, that is it for episode 6 of The Last of Us. Remember to like and subscribe if you want to support the channel, and I will see you for the next one.